Interested in this story. Voters in Jersey City will get to decide the fate of the local school board following a very contentious meeting on Wednesday night, which lasted nearly 6 hours and almost came to blows.
You can see me outside. you can see me outside. You ain't gotta wait to 2021. You ain't gotta wait to 2021. All that tough boy ain't gonna work here. Good. Okay. I'll be outside in the back in 15 minutes. That's where I'll be.
All right, so that was Jersey City Councilman Jermaine Robinson, who has since apologized for losing his temper, joining us this morning to explain why he is so passionate over this topic. So good morning to you, and thank you for coming in. Let's set the record straight first on that temper and why you raised your voice to that level and what was going through your head at that moment.
I mean, it was a very heated, long night, and, you know, the tensions ran really high, but it was totally unacceptable on my part as being a councilman. I understand that I was wrong. I apologized immediately. I've since had a conversation with the gentleman. We've talked in length about what we can do to work together to make the school board a better place in Jersey City, and, you know, I'm looking forward to just letting the voters decide in November.
Apologies and reflections are key in issues like this, but you also understand that the message it was sending to children who are watching, very interested in this issue because it affects them at heart, looking at you saying, let's take this outside.
Right. It was really because we were just pulled in different directions. You know, it was 6 hours, and it's, you know, this is not the first time that's happened. This is an ongoing thing, and I think it was, you know, I'm not proud of what happened that night, but it was really important to let the people see exactly what's going on, because on one hand we have the union and the teachers coming out on every night telling us and demanding us what we have to do for the school system. And the only way we can do that is if we have a voice, and that's having an appointed board. The other hand, we have an elected position where we have no say and we can't say anything to help the children. And I think that's why the tempers really ran high.
The testing levels in Jersey City for the 35,000 students are at 50% testing positively and favorably. So obviously there's an issue with the schools, which is why this is such a passionate topic. You voted to go in favor of mayoral appointees. Why do you feel that's necessary?
Well, I didn't vote to go in for mayor appointees. Just to be clear, what we voted for that night is to make sure that the people of Jersey City have a voice, whether they want our help because they come each and every week demanding our help, and or do they want it to keep being an elected position where we as a city council are really going to be hands off.
We know there's some issues with the school board right now, currently. Mayor Fulop actually very vocal about that. Let's listen to what he has to say and then get your reaction.
You have 5 people that resigned midterm. You have 1 person that's been indicted. You had 1 person that openly saying anti-Semitic comments. You have 1 board member who's living in China for the year.
All right, so clearly there's some issues with the board members. When did the board seemingly fall off the rails?
Well, there's been some issues for a long time on the board, and I think that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing. This is an everyday thing that people come every day and they just sit and they say, they demand us to take action. They demand us. And on the other hand, like I said, they sit there and say, hey, we don't want you to be a part of this system. We don't want your help. But every single night, it's important to know that they come in and demand us to take action and be proactive in making sure the kids of Jersey City are really taken care of. We do have some issues on the board. We had some indictments, as the mayor said. We have a $150 million budget, that deficit that we're trying to work with. We're trying to work with the school system, but our hands are tied because they have a larger budget than the school.
And, you know, some of those board members were asked to resign. You called for one of them to resign for anti-Semitic remarks after yesterday. Did you ever look at yourself and say, maybe I should resign after those comments, or no?
No, I think it was just a heat of the moment thing. I mean, we see what's going on with elected officials around the state. I didn't come out to threat, you know, to actually fight someone. I mean, you can take the words how you want. It was just a reaction to what the comments were, you know, a 6-hour berating of us as, you know, elected officials to sit there and take it. And usually we do. You know, this is not the first time I said it before. This is a every month thing that every meeting the school comes out and they kind of threaten us, and we sit there and take it over and over again. And, you know, I apologized, and I think that we can move forward to make a better Jersey City in the school system.
Thank you for coming in and setting the record straight. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you having me.
All right.